We need to sort of explain how we got from bone-crushing sanctions on Russia today to an in-person meeting for the first time between Donald Trump and Putin of this administration, and basically how we got to there. So let's get through the what, when, where, and why of this whole situation. The why is potentially in large part because of that threat of sanctions that has pushed Putin to the negotiating table. In terms of when it will take place, all we know from the Trump administration and from the Kremlin, it will be in the next few days. We understand that there is a location that has been decided by the two sides. They have not revealed where that is. The speculation is that it could be in the UAE or it could be in Turkey, a couple other candidates as well, but those are seen as the most probable. And then there's the question of the who. Who will the meetings be between? Will it be just Trump and Putin? That seems very likely. Also seems likely is Trump and Zelensky. The real question is, will there be a trilateral meeting between Trump, Zelensky and Putin? That, of course, would be without precedent since the beginning of this war and a major step forward. That is something that the Russians have sort of tamped down in terms of expectations. The opening positions here will highlight the difficulty of making any progress in this situation. For Ukraine, they said that they will not cede any territory. It's what they've said from the very beginning. What they demand is full withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukraine and, of course, reparations, paying for all the damage that the Russians have done to Ukraine over the last few years. Russia, for its part, wants to see sanctions lifted. They'd like to see a total demilitarization, or at least a largely demilitarization of Ukraine, and a guarantee that Ukraine will never join NATO. These two positions are basically completely irreconcilable at this stage. What the U.S. has sought to do is bring forward a conversation on a ceasefire. They have talked potentially about recognizing Crimea, which of course has been held by Russia since 2014, and they've talked about potential land control swaps within the east of Ukraine that could potentially facilitate some kind of conversation. Again, we should say with all of this, we're still very, very early in these conversations, what these conversations will look like. When you look at the map of what they're talking about here, again, this is sort of what the U.S. has proposed. This is something that Russia has rejected from the beginning, is potentially land ceding control in the east of Luhansk and Donetsk to the Russians, and then in here in Zaporizhia and Kherson, that would go back to the Ukrainians, and of course, the sort of key issue of recognition of Crimea. So these are the things that are on the table right now in this conversation, potentially leading up to this meeting between Trump and Putin that we're expecting now in the next few days.